VA1 Radio, VA1 Radio. VA1 Radio, VA1 Radio. VA1 Radio, VA1 Radio.
Our Almighty God, Creator of heaven and earth, Father and lover of our soul, you sit on your throne of mercy and rule with your love and faithfulness. You are full of grace. We acknowledge your presence in our lives. Nothing is hidden in your eyes, even our challenges and struggles in life. We come to you with faith. We ask not only for our daily spiritual bread, but to seek your forgiveness and undeserving favor to heal our land, our family members, our friends and neighbors, even our enemies with COVID-19 and other diseases. Holy Spirit, help us to deepen our faith and see the opportunity to believe, obey, and worship. As we face this pandemic, you are Lord and God. Encourage us and change our hearts, not to fear, but to be full of hope and find ourselves praying and meditating your word. We believe no works of the enemy prosper to your children. Abba, Father, we believe that your Son Jesus Christ is Lord and Savior. He is the truth in our salvation. Hear our prayers, O Lord, and most of all, not our will, but thy will be done. We pray this in Jesus' name, the name above all names, who was and is to come. Amen.
Naghahatid saya sa mga Pinoy, mga kanta at programang Tatak Pinoy. Napapanood at napapakinggan kahit saan ka man. Streaming worldwide. In South Manila, this is V81 Radio.
Malayo ka man sa iyong pamilya, dito ay hindi ka nag-iisa. Tiyak ito'y iyong hahanap-hanapin, dahil ito ang nagpapasaya sa atin.
VA1 Radio, VA1 Radio.
Ito ang radio mo, ito ang radio ko.
VA1 Radio, VA1 Radio.
Dahil mahal namin kayo.
VA1 Radio, VA1 Radio.
Para sa inyo ito, V81 Radio. Ito ang paborito ng bawat Pilipino. Basta all hits, all Pinoy, panalo. Merong kwentong iyakan at tawanan. Kahit nasaan ka man, ito'y mapapakinggan.
VA1 Radio, VA1 Radio.
Ito ang radio mo, ito ang radio ko.
VA1 Radio, VA1 Radio. Radio.
Dahil mahal namin kayo.
VA1 Radio. VA1 Radio.
Para sa inyo ito, V81 Radio. Ito ang radio mo, ito ang radio ko. Dahil mahal namin kayo. Para sa inyo ito, V81 Radio.
The views and opinions expressed by the host do not necessarily state or reflect those of the company and its management. Furthermore, the views and opinions of the guests do not reflect those of the host, the show, this station, the management, and the network. Welcome to Pride and Proud Asia, Asia's first online radio show that champions LGBT contribution and leadership in business and in our country and the region. Hosted by the Philippine LGBT Chamber of Commerce, visibility, representation, and empowerment. This is Pride and Proud Asia. Happy Pride!
Good evening and happy Pride! Welcome to another episode of Pride and Proud Asia, where we put a spotlight on LGBT leadership and inspiring stories in business and beyond. I am your host, your equality advocate, your partner in LGBT business, your accidental entrepreneur, Amrei Dizon. This online show is presented by the Philippine LGBT Chamber of Commerce in partnership with V81 Radio Manila. In Pride and Proud Asia, we wish to share stories that will make you see us more, hear us more, and love us more. Kaya samahan ninyo kami ngayon sa isa na namang masaya at nakakapagpamulat na usapan kasama ang LGBT community. Well, sabi nga nila, 3 is better than 1. Yes, not 2 but 3, but I think 2 na lang kami kasi yung isa stuck pa in traffic. But now, let me introduce you to my fellow LGBT advocate and co-host, our skin sensei, Dr. Winlove Mojica. Dr. Win?
Hi! Good evening. Happy Pride, everyone. Happy Pride, Amrei. Nice to be back. How are you?
I'm good. How are you? Mukhang medyo lagari ka ba ngayon? Kamusta naman
Yeah, super.
ang araw?
Presidential meeting na. Actually, kaka-lunch ko pa lang. So, minadali ko yung clinic ko kasi nga meron tayong Pride and Proud Asia. So, ikaw, kamusta?
Okay naman. Actually, medyo busy kami ngayon sa recruitment. Madaming mga hiring kasi medyo tinamaan din kami sa office ng The Great Resignation. Kaya medyo hagardo ngayon. Pero everything's good. Projects are still pouring in. So, 42 days na lang pala. Christmas na. So, kamusta naman?
Yeah.
Anong plano mo sa Christmas?
Well, ako hindi na ako nagkabit ng mga Christmas lights, Christmas decors. Although bumili ako ng kapis na parol, yung umiilaw, yun lang. Ayoko na mag-Christmas tree kasi ang toxic maglinis after. Ako rin lahat magtatago niyan. Tsaka wala namang kids dito sa bahay. Tapos, Christmas shopping, hindi ako mahilig mag-shopping. So, yung mga re-regaluhan ko, i-Gcash ko na lang.
Mas madali. I can imagine yung stress.
Babalutin ko pa, tapos papadala ko pa, deliver ko pa. Hindi na, papadala lang kita ng pera. Ikaw, how about you?
Actually, ganun din kami. Last year, yung mga inaanak, Gcash na lang, very digital na ngayon. Tapos, inaabangan yung mga sale. Kaso, dumipas na yung 10-10, 11-11, hindi pa kami nakapag-Christmas shopping. So, tingnan natin sa 12-12. Baka most likely, mga mga digital ampaw na lang. Ayun. So, to our listeners and viewers, Winlove and I are colleagues in the Philippine LGBT Chamber of Commerce, and it's an opportune time for us to present this radio program as we strengthen our goal of amplifying voices of the LGBT business community. So we focus on number one, developing an inclusive workplace environment. Number two, championing LGBT plus leadership. And number three, sharing of best practices across industries and geographic boundaries. Ayan. So if you're watching us live on Facebook, don't be shy to leave us some comments. We'd be delighted to interact with you. Itag nyo rin ang inyong mga friends, yung inyong mga LGBT friends and allies so we can start the conversation. Join us. So, Win, ready na ba tayo? Simulan na natin yung
Yes!
ating
Oo.
programa with some news
Pwede na
headlines.
tayo mag-start sa ating LGBT Rainbow News. Okay, ang first natin na pag-uusapan will be Bulacan to conduct mass vaccination for the LGBT community. Ano masasabi mo dyan, Amrei? Natutuwa ka ba dyan?
Natutuwa ako na meron talagang ganitong programa para sa sector natin in general. So ang sabi sa news, some 600 members of the LGBT community in this province who are 18 years of age and above will be inoculated against coronavirus disease on Thursday. Sa Thursday na pala ito. So ikaw bilang nasa medical field, ano masasabi
Yeah,
mo?
of course, this is
sa
good news.
initiative
Ano?
natin ito?
This is always good news if people are going to be vaccinated. Pero kasi, di ba meron tayong priority, yung A1 to A5. Feeling ko, kaya rin nagkakaroon ng ganito kasi maraming supply ngayon ng vaccines at maraming may expire. So talagang pinupush nila na kesa masayang, may bigay sa taong bayan yung mga bakuna. So this is a good initiative from the government of Bulacan. In fact, even before, may nauna na, ang tawag dito na group than Bulacan na targeting LGBT individuals, no? If I'm not mistaken, yung Love Yourself, it's an NGO focusing on helping PLHIV. Nagkaroon sila ng vaccination kasi yung mga volunteers ng Love Yourself, they are also considered as A1 mga healthcare workers kasi sila yung nagra-run ng testing, ng treatment. So yeah. So aside from that endeavor, so maganda ito na merong specific for LGBT. So congratulations to the government of Bulacan and of course
Congratulations.
to the LGBT people of Bulacan. Pabakulan na mga
So at least good news ang ating first news. News number 2 naman.
News
The
number two,
BBC said, the BBC said it quit an LGBT policy program to avoid claims of bias. So nag-cut sila ng ties with the UK's largest LGBTQ rights charity in an effort to appear impartial. So ano naman masasabi mo sa balitang ito, Win?
Hindi ako okay dyan. Kasi, di ba parang yun nga ang problema natin, parang we always want to be neutral. Pero alam na natin, ang karamihan sa atin, that when you are neutral, you are actually on the side of the oppressor, of the person who is in power. So, parang sayang yung opportunity. Bakit nila ginawa yun? Na para lang sabihin na impartial sila in delivering business? Delivering news pala, sorry. In delivering news. Parang di naman kailangan. What do you think?
Para sa akin, hindi din ako agree na nag-quit sila. It doesn't necessarily mean na pag nakipag-tie up sila sa isang LGBT or magiging impartial na sila. Kasi pwede naman siyang gawing venue or yung partnership, gawing venue for dialogue at saka pagsulong din ng mga concerns. And ayun, well actually judgment na rin naman nila yon kung ano yung mga ibabalita nila na according to their values. Pero parang hindi lang ako convinced dun sa kanilang
Yeah.
reason.
Meron pang underlying reason.
Mm-hmm.
Baka meron pang ibang underlying reason bakit sila nag-cut ng ties with that LGBT group. So, our assessment of this news is boot. Hindi siya toot.
Yeah.
Bad news yan.
Yeah. And
Okay.
let's see, let's look into it further. Tingnan natin kung ano pa yung mga dahilan nila. News number 3. So ito naman, may kinalaman sa mental health. Study finds suicide risk disparities in LGBT adults. So bilang doktor din, bilang nasa medical profession and bilang nagpo-promote ng SOGI, ano yung effect ba? Talaga bang mas higher ang risk ng suicide sa LGBT people? Dahil mas...
Oo naman. Yep. Definitely, marami talaga sa mga sexual minorities or in general, minorities, ang mataas ang level ng mental health stress, no? I could just imagine the number of individuals suffering mentally, physically, and emotionally when they are not part of a majority. Kasi, di ba, kung sexual minority ka, parang laging merong bias against you, laging may stigma and discrimination ka na na-experience. So, hindi imposible na maraming suicidal sa mga LGBT. So, dapat nga, pagtuunan natin ng pansin, no? Ako personally, kaya ang goal ko as parang a middle-aged LGBT man, gay man, is to try my best to mentor younger LGBT individuals para malaman nila na merong tao na nagki-care para sa kanila, na meron silang pwedeng pagsabihan. Tapos kung, usually, di ba, pag bata ka, hindi mo alam kung ano yung direction na pupuntahan mo eh. Kung wala kang parang, what you call this, vision, wala kang role model. Eh, di ba, ang hirap paghanap ng LGBT role model? Usually, ang nakikita mo lang parang, wala, obscure. Wala talagang politician na out and proud na LGBT leader. Oh, well, meron na sa country natin, no, si Geraldine Roman. Pero yung talagang regularly visible, tapos kakakakitaan mo ng magandang asal, may integrity, authenticity, may courage, may kindness, parang ang hirap makahanap ng ganun. So, ako personally, hindi man ako perfect, but I try to do my best na mag-mentor ng mga LGBT kids. Kaya minsan, actually hindi minsan, madalas, kapag may nagme-message sa akin sa Twitter na LGBT kid, talaga take my time na kausapin kahit hindi ko siya kilala. Tapos yun. So, yeah, we should focus on our kids para hindi sila lalaki na disturbed LGBT adults. Ikaw, Amrei, did you ever experience any form of mental stress because of being LGBT?
Yes. When I was young, nasa Catholic school for girls kasi ako. So it was taught na having a relationship or being attracted with the same sex is a sin and you will go to hell. And wala rin naman ako nakikitang representation and visibility sa mass media, even in music. So I've always thought about myself as being different and invisible. So wala akong nakikitang people like me. Yung mga nakikita kong people like me are represented in such a bad way in the movies, like the gays are nasa parlor, tapos mga slapstick pinagtatawanan, yung mga lesbians na represented sa movies na-in love din sa sa lalaki. So yung mindset ko before, this is just a phase, magbabago din ako, I won't rot in hell. So pag co-ed na, pag di na ako high school, baka magbago rin ako and I will be better. So I've always thought of myself as inferior kasi ganito ako. So
yeah,
ayun,
I agree.
understandable.
Meron akong favorite movie, yung Jack and Jill, ni Sharon at ni Robert.
Favorite ko rin yan.
Yun yung perfect example na lesbian, apparently, parang masculine. Actually, masculine. Yun lang natin masasabi masculine. Tapos parang eventually may in love siya sa lalaki. Ganun nga yung perception ng unang panahon na parang this is just a phase. Pero pag napansin mo din sa story na yon, si Sharon lang yung nag-switch, di ba? Herbert remained parang quote-unquote gay dun sa film na yon. So, I agree with you. Kulang ang representation in every field, in medical field, law, and in the entertainment industry, actors, actresses,
Agree.
singers. But tonight, ang makikita natin, yun ang i-highlight natin ngayon. Meron tayong mga
Yes.
LGBT performers at makikita ninyo kung ano ba yung mga ginagawa nila, ano yung na-experience nila. And napakagandang episode nito dahil we're going to put a spotlight on these individuals para maiba naman. Pati naman ang sikat.
Iba na din yung mga panahon ngayon. Marami ng mga platforms ngayon for artists, and yung discoverability ng artists and musicians ngayon is much easier because we have an online platform. Although medyo mahirap kasi mahirap mag-stand out kasi everybody can already be a creator. Pero tignan natin ano yung nasa puso at isipan, ano yung mga inspirasyon ng ating queer musicians. How are they representing the community? Paano na ba yung representation ngayon versus dati? Tayo yung mga tayo yung yung sa oldies part. Let's see. Let's pick the brains of our musicians later. But bago ang lahat, yan, mag-wrap up na tayo dun sa ating
Rainbow News.
Yan. Ano nga bang next natin? Kailangan na nating mag-commercial muna. Tama ba, Winlove? Para makapagsimula na tayong makapag-chikahan with our guests?
With our OPM LGBT singers and composers. So, wag po kayong aalis. Babalik po ang Pride and Proud Asia.
We'll be back shortly. This is Pride and Proud Asia, only here on V81 Radio, Manila. Get into the treasure trove of undiscovered music through Napalm, your new all-Pinoy alternative music. Whether it's rock, metal, reggae, soul, or pop, we have it covered. Napalm features upcoming Pinoy artists and musicians, hosted by Parts Moro and Lace Jimenez. So sit back and relax and enjoy Napalm, only here on V81 Radio, Manila. Connected ka na ba para laging updated sa mga bagong shows, promos, trending news, viral videos, events, o patok na OPM hits? Just follow us on Facebook at V81 Radio Manila. Simple lang, itype lang ang letter V81 Radio Manila. O, di ba madali lang? Kaya i-like at i-follow na. Now back to Pride and Proud Asia, only here on V81 Radio Manila.
Welcome back to Pride and Proud Asia. Happy Pride! And to those who just tuned in, you are watching another episode of Pride and Proud Asia, a first-of-its-kind program that puts a spotlight on LGBT plus leadership and inspiring stories in business and beyond. I'm your accidental entrepreneur, Amrei Dizon, with my co-host, the Skin Sensei, Dr. Winlove Mojica. So last
Hello,
week,
happy
our
Pride,
episode-
everyone.
Happy Pride, Win. So last week, our episode was about sports and why we need more out and proud LGBTQIA plus athletes. But tonight, it's me against the music. Cue na daw natin sina Maring Whitney and Britney.
Britney,
It's
alala
me.
mo ba yung kanta nila?
Alin doon?
Ay, yung silang dalawa, si
Ay,
Hey,
oo.
you say you wanna lose control. Come over here, I got something to show ya. Napapasama
Very
favorite.
controversial.
Come over here, I got something to show ya. Okay.
But in all seriousness, we may not be very much aware, but LGBTQ plus discrimination is very evident in original Pinoy music today. Tama ba yan, Win?
Yeah, correct, correct. That's why we'll be giving some examples later. But for now, allow me to introduce our special guests. So, our first guest. While duos are often formed by partners, best friends, or siblings, that wasn't the case for our guests tonight. So, barely acquainted, this pop dash R&B duo began when guest number one approached guest number two to produce a jingle for a high school concert in 2015. Fast forward to 2021, and the two are still at it, better than ever. In October, they released alternative R&B single "Expectations," a sweet, melancholic song about long-distance relationships. With their music, the two seek to provide some momentary relief to everyone while shedding light on issues that matter. Let's all welcome Steph and Huge. Hi, Steph and Huge. Welcome to Pride and Proud Asia.
Hello, good evening, Amrei and Winlove.
Good evening, Stephen
Hello.
Huge. Nice to have you here.
Nice to be here.
And our
Okay,
second guest, Win, would you
go
like to
ahead, Ray.
introduce?
Okay, so I'll introduce. Um, our second guest identifies as they, them, unknowingly battling undiagnosed ADHD. In their younger years, they turned to music to self soothe and communicate their truth. They made a home for themselves on YouTube in the early years of their career, and after amassing a following, they wholeheartedly plunged into live performance and the Philippine music industry. Let's all welcome Z or Za Cabrera. Hi Z, good evening, welcome.
Hi, good evening, everyone.
Hi, Z. Nice to have you here. So, welcome to Pride and Proud Asia, Steph and Huge and Z. Pleasure to have you with us. We've prepared a couple of questions for you before we proceed to our segment later on Kilatisin ang lyrics, where we will be dissecting LGBTQ related OPM lyrics. So I'm so excited to hear your thoughts on these songs. But first and foremost, we'd like to ask how you are. Kamusta kayo these days with your music and your career? How's life treating you these days? Simulan natin kay Steph.
Hmm. Um. Well, before thinking about music, ang iniisip ko yung day job ko. So, from that, I'm very tired. I'm always tired. Pero I think yun nga, music is kind of our way of unwinding as well. Although yun nga, marketing and promos and releases can be a bit stressful. At the end of the day, when we're creating music, it's always kind of like therapy, and it's sobrang fulfilling to have something come from your brain and then actually hear it completely. So, well, on my end, I'm tired, but in terms of music, I'm happy because we just did release a single recently. So, ayan.
Nice, tired but
Okay,
happy and fulfilled.
how about
Sorry.
How about,
Huge?
Ayun.
yeah, Huge. Kamusta naman?
Hi. Well, I'm just at home. Just like most of us. And well, I also think about my day job because I really do have lots of focus on like uh what I do there. But in terms of music, like day job, marketer in the day, musician at night, and I do create a lot of music, even at home. It's a bit more difficult now because my my inspiration really comes from like outside. So I've been trying to cope with how to get my artistic side out of it again, even just being inside here. But overall, okay naman. I'm just here at home, just waiting, like just like all of us.
Waiting for the pandemic to to stop, to end.
True.
Yeah, nakaka-curious, no? Paano yung music writing process pre-pandemic days and during the pandemic. So mamaya tatanungin namin kayo about that, about your process. But kamustahin ko muna si Z. Z, how are you doing these days? How are you coping with the pandemic?
Coping with the pandemic pretty okay because I'm not exactly in the same place that I was before. I used to be a full-time musician, but then now I'm back in school, so I'm just really focused on that. And I've always been a homebody, so having to study at home and be at my desk the whole day it wasn't that much of a challenge for me. So I like being alone, so that's why. But yeah, in terms of my music, the whole pandemic, I don't know. It's just everything that I've made so far has been very me centered, which is not something I'm ashamed of. I used to be ashamed of it, like writing for me. But maybe we'll touch on that later. Maybe. And yeah, that's it. It hasn't been as hard for me, thankfully.
Z, you
Speaking
said
about
you're in school now. What are you doing? What course are you taking?
I'm taking up a business course because this is my
Oh,
fourth
okay.
try at college. I was telling Amrei about it a few days ago, I think. Yeah.
Okay. Sounds busy. I'm Ray.
I'm curious and really interested with on behalf of our viewers then. Kindly tell us about how you identify, what's your gender identity, and how are you um, having incorporating that identity in your music, in your creations. Um, can we start with Z, since you're talking about your ano naman, your school and yung pag-quit mo sa music din. I saw in your latest post, meron kang song about quitting and about ADHD, and you also mentioned yung writing music for yourself. So what's your identity, and how do you how do you relate that to your material?
Um, how long did it take me to get to figure out what I identified as? I think right now I identify as non-binary, so my pronouns are they them, but I don't I don't hate on people who call me sir. If someone calls me sir at a restaurant, I feel really kilig. Someone calls me man because I do still have a very feminine chest, and I don't mind either. But yeah, I used to think I was trans, like a trans male, and then I was like, maybe that's just heteronormativity seeping into my psyche and everything. Uh, but yeah, they them. Those are my pronouns. I'm non-binary. How it affects my music now that I've been more open with myself and with what I truly identify as, I feel like I've given myself more leeway to experiment with different things. Because before, it was a lot of me creating and also me boxing myself into a certain category or certain categories rather, based on what I thought other people would perceive as palatable enough for me to be accepted in society. So now it's just I'm just everywhere. If so, a lot of my songs I have a lot of my main songs are under my real name on Spotify, Riza Cabrera. But then, as of recently, I've been trying to branch out to like different genres of music, which I release on my dump Spotify account. So yeah, it's made me feel really free and limitless in things that I do.
Interesting. Interesting. Writing music and creating something parang art as a self-expression, and not treating it as a job where you have a producer and kailangan. How is it ba pag merong producer and it's like a business, yung pagiging musician mo versus what you're doing now na nagsusulat ka according to how you feel lang and walang parameters. Why
Um,
did
it
you
was
decide to go into that?
it was very draining for me being part of the music industry because I've been in it for like a little over a decade, or wait, how old am I? Yeah, like a little over a decade. And yeah, I it got to a point where I realized that I was writing for other people and that I wasn't writing because I wanted to write what I wanted to write. I was writing because I wanted what I wrote to be something that other people liked. I wanted it to be something that they listened to, something that they'd want me to perform live, and that did it for me. That was like the breaking point in my career, I guess, because I didn't want that to be my relationship with music, because in my past, music was always the thing that helped me figure out who I was, um, helped me express myself, like my first girlfriend or whatever. That's how I asked her to be my girlfriend and whatever. So I didn't want to break that relationship, and I cherished it so much so that I would rather I'd rather keep it to myself than have it be something consumed by, or rather than having it be something that I made for others to consume. But then the drawback of that would be me being so detached from it. I didn't want that. I really didn't want it.
A lot of artists also experience that, creating for yourself versus the business side of it, making money out of it. So ibig sabihin, you have to have an audience, and somehow, yeah, you have to please other people. So parang nakaka-identity crisis siya, no? Sinong susundin mo? Sarili mo or yung audience mo? But I'm curious, how is this situation also relevant to Steph and Huge? But first, let us know how you identify, and then you can expound on that experience. Steph?
All right. So I identify as a transgender woman, and my pronouns are she her. And sobrang nakarelate ako sa kinuwento ni Z earlier, kasi there is a certain balance between writing for yourself and parang sharing your soul, and writing to please or to parang conform to what people may expect or what will sell or whatever. Parang there's a certain balance na ako personally I think about when I write, and there is somewhat of a pressure to like make numbers or to make it big, or especially since parang nasa pivotal, well, in my opinion, nasa pivotal stage kami in life ni Huge, na parang we're kind of setting up our futures in a way. I mean, we all are. We're always doing that. Pero we are kind of like plotting the seeds for what will be happening in our late 20s, in our early 30s. So parang thinking ahead, right now, am I making music to fulfill my soul? Am I trying to do that while pleasing other people? So there are always those questions in mind kapag nagsusulat ako. Pero definitely for me, similar to Z, my priorities is always how I feel, and what I'm experiencing, what's relevant to me, what I find catchy, what I find to be a bop. So, yun yung mga iniisip ko when I write, and when I pitch songs, or not pitch, pero when I send a song over to Huge. So, ayun, take it away, Huge.
So hi, I'm Huge, and I'm a straight ally, and I'm very happy to say that I'm a straight ally. And for me, well, apart from working with Steph in our project, Steph and Huge, I do have another project, solo career per se for music, and like as a producer, I don't really do much of writing, more as just make music, just make instrumentals, make beats. I have a I have a wide array of genres that I work on. And in terms of writing music for myself or for other people, I think, well, same with Z. I've been here. I've been in the industry for about a decade too, and it's always been about me. I've always created music for myself, and um, some people approach me like Steph to create music for them, and I feel that um, I've I've been a little bit lost in making music for myself, but I don't really see that as a problem because I have some friends that I could make music for. And well, the fact that the fact that it's always been about me for a really long time, I've I thought, you know what, maybe I should try to um, create something or build upon the vision of another person's work. And I think that's a very it's a very great thing that I could do for the music industry in general. And yeah.
Thank you for sharing. Thank you for sharing that. I'm curious lang kung paano yung process nyo about in writing. Kasi Steph mentioned na sometimes an idea strikes and doon siya magsusulat. Um, Lagi pang ganon na there are external triggers, or do you have a habit or a routine na even if walang inspiration, you still write and you still create? What's your process like? Z, what's your process like?
Me?
Yeah.
Me right now? Okay. Um, it's a mixed bag, I'd say. Sometimes it's the melody, sometimes it's the lyrics, but these days, now that I'm more, I mean, I'm on the opposite end of, compared to Huge. Right now, he's making music for other people. About me, I'm just making it for myself. Um, these days, it's more internal prompts, or whenever I feel like I need to process something. I know I should have a therapist, but whenever I feel the need, I have to process something. Then I try to see if writing will help, and then a song, however short it may be, may come out of it. If I want to release it, then I release it. If I don't, then I don't. It's just that. Yeah.
How's it different from the previous time when you had a producer?
um, I did not have a producer before. I worked with producers, but I didn't have like a steady producer. So a lot
I
of the
see.
things that I released were just like produced videos on YouTube or something like that. So it's just me in front of a camera, guitar, recorded with a condenser microphone. But those times when I wrote for other people, or for for the palette of others, I I was so in my head about it, because I was trying to figure out, like, I tried to play it like a game, I guess, because I was trying to figure out what was catchy. I was trying to apply like whatever music theory that I learned into what I was writing, and I would give myself such a hard time if it wasn't catchy enough, and all of and all that. Yeah, so before it was stressful. Now it's very therapeutic. My writing now.
See, that's good na music is something that's therapeutic to you. Nakaka-nourish ng soul.
Amrei,
How about you, Steph? Do you have a routine that you have to write every day, yung ganon, or when inspiration strikes lang?
Not necessarily. Parang very spontaneous lang yung nangyayari kapag nagsulat ako. Ang I guess if I could say it's not so much a routine, but whenever something very big happens in my life, or something very emotional happens, that's when I end up just like word vomiting onto my notes. So bigyan na ako magta-type sa notes ko, and the words just come. So and always, it used to be that I would write melodies with a certain rhythm or a certain uh, lyric already. Pero recently, I've been trying to play around a little more and just like sing whatever comes into my head. If I like it, I'll just record it or save it. So that's kind of been um, a routine, I guess, for me. Pero it's never like, oh, at 3 p.m. I'll have a bop ready. Pero ayun, that's it for me.
Amrei, what I'm getting from our guests is like Z and Steph, they write based on their feelings, on what they feel. Pero baligtad naman kay Huge. Siya naman parang in a way gave up that style. Parang binibigyan niya ng spotlight yung mga ibang tao. Tama ba? Tama yung intindi ko, no? I hope.
Yes. Um, well, as a producer kasi, well, I do like to create music for people is something that's really expected from a producer. But I do make some music for myself, like sparingly, recently. But for me, I really want to, because like music's always been about me. I always thought, what if I try to take some energy from like the artistic energy from others and maybe try to find something that will stick to me. And I think that that form of collaboration really creates something new, something that um, molds something that was originally already a creative person into something that's even more creative. So that's why I do like creating for other people.
Yeah, huge. Ako personally, I'd like to thank you for being an ally. Not everybody professes their allyship to the LGBT community. So, Steph, you are so lucky to have huge as an ally. So I hope we all have allies, no more allies in the
Yes.
LGBT community because it amplifies. These people amplify our voices. Amrei?
Speaking of representation of LGBTs, how do you incorporate your gender identities or your personal experiences, or consciously ba aware? Do you want people like us to also relate to your music? So, paano nyo ini-incorporate sa narrative nyo in your songwriting process, yung inyong identity? I want to ask Z first.
Um, I used to hide it. I used to hide being the way that I am and writing songs for the gender that I'm attracted to. As a matter of fact, I think I have a few songs that I address a boy. Like in the lyrics, it's boy. And now that I think about it, I'm so glad I'm not in that headspace anymore. But now it's more of I wouldn't say in your face. It's just more of matter of fact. Like it is what it is, and I don't really try to hide it anymore. Yeah.
But why did you hide it? Why did you choose to hide it? Were you afraid of losing your following back then?
I was for a time in denial with my gayness. So maybe that was that. I was also in the closet and I was not like fully accepted until in my family. I'm not fully accepted until I was like maybe 24, 25, around that age. So that's why I did a lot of patching up or like buffering, putting buffers around my personality and everything that I did, just so that I wouldn't be as offensive. I know that's not the right word, but just so that I'm not as loud or too loud for people um, to I'm losing my words. Not too loud for people to not want to understand. Does that make sense? Like I
Yeah,
was trying
yeah.
to create a
Yeah.
safe version of myself, and then eventually, if people were willing to have me open up, then I'd open up to them. But now I don't really care. I'm just the way that I am.
Was there an event or a trigger or meron bang parang epiphany when you realized na heck or whatever, um, I'll be open about who I am, no more hiding. Meron bang
It
incident or
was
event
a
that led you to that?
very well. I first came out when I was 13, like to my family. But then throughout the years, it's been a steady climb. I'd say like there wasn't a big event or anything. It was just a lot of me ruminating on my decisions in life and realizing, I don't want to not be me. I don't want to have to keep creating this safe version of myself for others to relate to before they can actually meet the real me. So it's just like all of that, all those tiny instances compounded throughout the years, and yeah, now I'm just here.
How about
Amrei,
Steph? Have you experienced the same doubt sa sarili about revealing your identity in your songwriting?
I guess it's a little more uh, nuanced to like express transness in a song, in like a pop song. So uh, yes and no. yun for me, I was very and kasi I was about wow, what are words? I came out as trans after Eugene and I were performing together for like 2 3 years. So right before we like made this duo a thing, uh was when I came out as trans to my family, to my friends. Although I had been openly queer for my entire life. Actually, no, mga high school. Uh, ayun, parang I was in the process of coming to terms with my own identity. While I was also trying to like put myself out there as an artist. So, yun yung medyo confusing time. And yun yung medyo confusing to like tell events organizers how to address me, or because I didn't particularly know myself. Uh, and yun, when I did figure out uh, how I wanted to be addressed and how I identify, ayun, I think it just came naturally to the music as well. And um, I am in the same boat with Zena. I'm not um, particularly explicit about like very like verbatim things about my identity, because I think I'm very explicit about it and how I how I carry myself and how I speak about my beliefs and my views. So and also we have songs about pride and about uh, like my romantic experiences. So I think I kind of lay it all on the line anyway. So I so it was an issue for a while for me before we had Steph and Huge. Pero I think now we're very um just vocal about it outside of the music, and it's just like embedded in it na rin. Parang ganun.
Amrei, I have a question. Teacher Amrei.
Go ahead, Win.
My question is, so we've been talking about how you create your music. Ako personally gusto kong malaman, how is your style? What is your style? Para bang Adele na saksak puso, tulo ang dugo? Di ba parang pag si Adele ang nagsulat, lalo na yung album niya na 21, na parang puro heartaches na lang nakasulat? Or parang on the generic side, merong happy, merong perky, tapos meron ding sad, or yun. Um, si ano muna, si Steph, tapos si Z, tapos tanungin natin si Huge.
Kami ni Huge, ano parang mostly, well, majority of our music is quite upbeat. So, nasa pop side siya of things, pop R&B. But recently, yun, we've been experimenting with R&B, and kasi yun nga, it's something na it's a genre that we both really love, and a lot of my music has been a little more emotional lately. So, uh, ayun, hindi naiiwasan ang paglagay ng feelings in the music. So, we have been dabbling in that. And I've been told na for certain songs, like, for example, Excuse, which is about just like realizing the limits of like a relationship. Uh, I've been told na, yun nga, parang my best friend told me na she can't listen to that song kasi it just makes her cry. So, there are moments like that in our discography, so to speak.
Thank you, Steph. How about you? How about you, Z?
A lot of my earlier stuff, I'd say maybe like 90% of everything that I've written so far is more. They're mostly either love songs or sad like heartbreak songs, because that's all I knew before. Like that's all that I knew about myself, that I could love and that I could be heartbroken. So that's what I wrote about. But as of late, I've been like as I said, I've been dabbling in other things and expressing myself in the ways that I've wanted to for such a long time. So I've written like a rap song, a pop punk song that I think Amri liked, because I saw her like the video on my profile a few days ago. And yeah, it's just a mixed bag. But in terms of what I've released, it's really it's annoying. When did I censor it? It's more of like I really only released things that I thought that other, if you could, can you hear my brother? He's like laughing really loud sa baba. Yeah, but everything that I've released so far, for the most part, has just been like love songs. Yeah, but even before, I would always write something that's a little uh, a little weird or different in comparison to things that I've released, but I just never released it. I've always been all over the place, and I can't really stick to one genre. But in the eyes of the people that have heard my, in the ears of the people that have heard my music so far, it's just mostly love songs and heartbreak songs.
Mhm. Speaking of
Okay.
heartbreak songs and yung pagsusulat, pag merong trigger na emotions, well, si Alanis, nung hindi na siya angry, nawala siya. Si Adele, na nagka-jowa, hindi na siya nagsulat. So, can you write pagka wala masyadong intense feelings? Z?
Actually, yeah. For some time, I did write for other people, or I did commission songs. So, the most recent, well, the one that I remember the most, because it's the one that people keep bringing up. I know I did have to write the wedding song of Ann Curtis and Erwan Yusuf. So I had no feelings whatsoever. I had to lock myself in a room. This is one of the reasons why I stopped. I stopped performing and and doing music for other people, is because when I do it for other people, it drains me, and it makes me feel like I'm going crazy. So yeah, I didn't have any feelings in that moment, and I had to really force myself to feel similar to what I thought that the couple was feeling, based on the information that they gave me. So kaya naman, it's just really tiring, and I can't do that again. I choose not to.
I guess huge, di po pa
Let
pala
me ask,
na-answer yung question ni,
yeah,
ni Win.
let me
Yeah.
ask you.
For me, it's funny because I need to actually be emotional to make music. It's like I can't make music if I'm not feeling anything. So I really put my songs together in terms of colors, in terms of things and places. That's why it's hard for me, because without moving, I can't like create music, or just create music. And I think that's why I work with other people, because yun nga, the fact that I don't have any source of inspiration right now. The people who do have inspiration, maybe I could help them like amplify that. And yeah, in terms of my identity, um, it's the I same thing. I do want to amplify the identity of the people I work with. And for me, my music. Well, I'm not that much of a writer, and so I'm a producer, and I do have lots of. I put a lot of expression in my music. The only problem with that is they're instrumental, so some people really don't necessarily understand what I'm trying to say. But that's not really a problem for me, because what I try to express in my music, it's there, and it's for me, and that's what matters to me.
Huge. I have a follow-up question. For somebody who is not familiar with the production of music, what is the difference between a writer and a producer? Sorry, I don't have any idea.
Okay, so a writer is basically the people who, like, in the most literal terms, they actually write the lyrics, they write the melody, they write the song, they write the chords, they do the drums, they tell they tell the bassist how to do it. The producer, well, just overall manages the song, puts it together. um I wouldn't really say that I manage a song more than I do create it, but if there's no producer, there's no song. So that's the job of a producer.
What can
Z.
you say about that, Z? Yeah.
Oh yeah, I
Z.
wanted to say, I think highly of producers, because for me, producers are like the chefs, and like the writers are the sous chef, the emotions are the feelings, and the emotions are the feelings. The emotions are the ingredients. Yeah, as are the experiences, ingredients and sila. But it's really the producer that that really makes or breaks something. And like producers are the unsung heroes of the music industry, quite honestly. My opinion lang.
Oh, thank you.
When you say you're the producer, does it mean that you have to be the person who has the money?
Not necessarily. It's just more of, it's really just about putting the song together. It's not, I understand that, like in the film sense, the producer means like a totally different thing. But here in music, it's really, if you could put a record together, that makes you a producer.
Can you please expound if you can put the song together? Because the writer writes it and has an idea on how it should sound. When you say producer, parang you collaborate with the other musicians and then parang schedule the recording, something like that. Am I getting it right?
Yeah, something like that. But um, it's a bit of a really, it's a broad definition in terms of music production, because like I could be doing the recording, I could be putting the instruments together, I could be playing the instruments, and which is what I do for Stefan Huge. I do play like all of the stuff. So, and in the end, whatever is out here, that is the work of a producer.
Oh, okay. So I learned something new, Amrei. Kala ko parang sulat-sulat ka lang and then you give it to somebody. So importante pala yung mga producer because they make everything seamless. So very interesting conversation. I learned something, but we have to pause for a break. Thank you, Steph Huge and Z. For now, we'll have a break and then we'll continue with Pride and Proud Asia. Uh, Please join us as we continue after this break.
We'll see you in a minute.
We'll be back shortly. This is Pride and Proud Asia, only here on V81 Radio, Manila. Here now is the program for the millennials that will showcase young professionals' worth, aspirations, and successes in doing what they believe is right, progressive, and inclusive. Join them as they discover the path to self and societal fulfillment while making a difference. Hosted by empowered and cool millennial Erica Mizon, together with her fellow millennials, they will be making a difference. Only here on V81 Radio, Manila.
The program that gives you the latest in Filipino business and trend with Norm Challenging Brand, paving the way to be next generation business leaders. This is Talk Shop Asia Next Gen, connecting you to the future. Hosted by business and transformation mentor Rolly Pagaspas, franchise and business coach Don Senita, and beauty and business maven Muriel Villanueva. Jump into the business revolution every Sunday from 3 p.m. to 4 p.m. with Talk Shop Asia Next Gen. Big Media is all about life's journey.
Yung mga yon, mga bata pa sila dati nung nakakasama ko sila. So ngayon, sikat na sila.
In digital. Entertainment.
Maraming salamat po na nabigyan niyo kami ng opportunity.
Information, story, inspiration, and experiences. Whenever, wherever you want, welcome. Join us as we push the boundaries of possibility here with Big Media.
Now back to Pride and Proud Asia, only here on V81 Radio, Manila.
Welcome back to Pride and Proud Asia, where we put a spotlight on LGBT plus leadership and inspiring stories in business and beyond. Speaking of and beyond, ngayon naman ang pinag-uusapan natin ay all about music. So let's call back our guests, Steph, Huge, and Za. Ayan, nandito na pala sila. So kanina pinag-uusapan natin yung lack of representation sa music ng LGBT people nung panahon natin, di ba, Winlove? Pero ngayon, well, meron naman na, pero ang nagmamatter kasi din yung messaging. So tignan natin yung messaging ng mga popular music na na nakilala natin. Time for our segment, which is called Kilatisin ang Lyrics. So sa segment na ito, we will be dissecting OPM lyrics associated with the LGBT community. We will be determining if the lyrics passed the vibe check or if they did not pass the vibe check. So, ready na ba tayo? Win, Steph, Huge, and Za?
Ready.
Ready when you are.
Okay, so first song. Song number 1, Babae Po Ako by Tuesday Vargas. So, nandito pala yung lyrics. So, tanong ko muna siguro si Winlove. Win, familiar ka ba dito sa song na ito? At anong reaction mo sa mensahe ng message na to? Sa mensahe ng kanta na to, sorry.
Nakamute pala ako, dala ako ng dala. Nakamute pala ako. Familiar ako dito sa song na to, pero familiar ako sa baing na to. Kasi schoolmate ko si Tuesday in high school. And kung kakilala mo siya, itong ginawa niyang kanta ay talagang bagay sa kanya. Kasi mapagkakamalan mo siyang hindi siya babae. Kasi hindi siya masyadong boobsy, tapos napaka-gregarious niya, ang gulo-gulo niya. So siguro, in the course of her pagdadalaga at pagpunta ng college, baka may nagtatanong sa kanya, babae ka ba talaga or baka bakla ka? Di ba yan yung kasama sa lyrics? Pero kung hindi mo alam yung story na yon, I could just imagine that this could be offensive for gay individuals, no? Mga feminine na ano dito na mga LGBT individuals. So parang sa akin, dahil kilala ko siya, safe itong song na to. Pero kung hindi mo kilala kung ano yung pinanggagalingan ng storya, can be interpreted in a different way. So yun yung stand ko.
Ano naman ang stand nyo dito? Let's start with Steph.
I think it's firmly transphobic. I think it is definitely a cultural touchstone in the queer community. I think Get Someone, it's a bop. Parang it's very catchy. It's something. It's a song that everyone knows. But at the end of the day, and I don't think this is Tuesday is doing herself. I don't think I don't think that it was. I don't think people understood what transphobia was at the time. And what the problem. I don't think people understood what the problem was with this song. But like, if someone puts this out now, it's just firmly transphobic. So okay, so hindi man siya bakla, let you go. Pero ayun, that's the entire like point of the song. So in my opinion, it's firmly transphobic, and it's a no for me. But I love Miss Tuesday. Love that for her.
How about you, just opinion as a straight ally?
For me, that is that's a red flag. It's I see what she's trying to say, but the fact that she's saying that she's not gay in kind of a negative connotation kind of doesn't really sit well. I mean, nowadays it doesn't sit well. I guess before,
It was
as
funny.
Steph said, people are not really familiar with transphobia at that time. But those are my thoughts about it. It's the negative connotation of what she's trying to say is kind of a red flag.
Actually, marami ting mga songs before na hindi pa din aware of not just transphobia, but kung ano yung mga hindi na acceptable ngayon before hindi pa ganun ka woke yung mga tao. So I guess kailangan din tignan yung mga unconscious biases, even if you are writing for yourself, culturally and from other groups, baka pwede siya maging offensive. So I guess merong responsibility na kadikit din sa isang creator how the music can influence others. Z, what do you think?
I agree with Steph. Firstly, it is a bop, but it is transphobic. But I'm kind of I'm kind of happy that that song exists because it's something that we can look back on to compare how music was and how our culture was back then compared to how it is now. But the song is transphobic. It did not pass the vibe check. It's a bop, but it's a no for me.
It's a no
Thank
for
you.
me. Actually,
For your
I learned something.
opinions.
Kasi ngayon ko lang din na-realize na it's a transphobic song. Kaya nga nung pinisipan ko kanina, alam ko na yan yung pinagdaanan niya na pagkakamalan siyang bakla. But pag mga narinig, it comes across as transphobic. Gusto ko lang i-share, meron pa akong isang song bigla na naisip na para sa akin, hurtful. Yung multong bakla, ano bang title
oo.
nun? Di ba?
Multong bakla.
Multong bakla.
Ginikitara ko pa yun dati.
Oh, bakit?
Ginikitara ko pa yun nung bata
Bakit may
ako.
na-associate yung bakit may na-associate yung multo sa bakla?
Not multong
Kasi,
bakla.
Hindi alam yun. Oh my God.
Kasi may nauso
Diba?
dati.
Oh, no.
Regal Shocker yata o Pinoy Thriller na merong episode na Badaf Killer. Merong ganun eh. So, ewan ko, probably associated with that.
Amrei, di ba ito yung multo sa pangaling? Di ba yun?
Pare, meron kang bisita. Ano yan?
Oo,
Kaya multo
yes,
sa
correct.
pangaling.
Oy, kayo mga kabataan, dapat alam niyo yan, yung culture
Ah.
natin, yung mga history ng kanta natin. Oh, hindi na nila alam yun, Amrei.
Parang
Mga high school tayo
itsura mo'y
nila, no?
parang, high school. First year high school ako nito eh. Itsura mo'y parang naluging bakla. Ang galing-galing mong bugaw. Mas kadiri ka pa sa langaw. Grabe. And we were singing that when we were growing up. Isa yun sa mga natutunan ko sa gitara.
Correct.
Actually, ang dami din mga 90s song eh, na pag kinikilatis ko yung lyrics ngayon, parang, oh my God. Pati nga yung mga sexual connotations ng mga 90s songs dati na kinakanta ng mga bata. Parang, oh my God. Hindi tayo masyadong particular sa lyrics ng mga kanta before. Di ba?
So,
pati yung I'm a Barbie girl.
Yeah.
Sige, move na tayo sa next.
Move to the next song.
Next song. Yan, song number 2. This Guy is in Love with You, Pare by Parokya ni Edgar. So, I think, simulan natin kay Huge. Ano yung vibe mo dito sa kanta na to?
For this song, well, I'm not really that familiar with the lyrics, but like on the surface, like on the surface, I mean, it's not really saying anything bad about it, or at least in the chorus, like this guy's in love with you. Okay, well, that's good. You can see it as a good thing, and you can see it as a bad thing if you're like if you're homophobic, but it's okay. It's okay.
I think yung nangyayari sa song na to is yung best friend niya ay gay, hindi niya alam na secretly in love pala sa kanya. Tapos there was a part sa song na umiiwas na siya doon sa best friend niya. Pero kahit na iniiwasan na niya, sinabi pa rin ng best friend niya na I'll always be a friend that you can depend on. So parang ganun. So nung nalaman, kasi parang may betrayal na parang hindi mo ni-reveal sa akin. Parang pinagkatiwalaan kita. May ganung aspect. Pero gay ka pala and you're in love with me pala. Parang ganun. Ano sa tingin mo, Steph?
May mga nasabi kang nuances na hindi ko necessarily na pick up. Pero yun nga, I think from a surface level, it is relatively harmless. May mga outdated concepts lang like converting and ayun nga, yung pag-iwas din na parang siguro ang nega lang na naisip kong nagagawa nito is yung parang myth na like gays just fall in love with any man. Kasi yun nga, it kind of feeds that culture in like the Philippines. So, pero nonetheless, parang otherwise, I think by the end they reconcile or something. So, parang ewan ko, baka nabawi narratively. Pero for me, it's not necessarily that bad. So, it's okay. Like, it's fine.
Okay. How about you, Win? As a gay man, can you relate to what Steph said na merong ganong parang nuance pagka you're gay, parang gusto mo na lahat parang iwasan ka na or something. Parang, ay, bakla yan. May parang
Ako I
ganun eh.
take offense. Ako I take offense in this song. Kasi kapag pinapatugtog to, parang laging ang context ay parang tinutukso na bakla yung isang tao. Usually pinapatugtog yan, natatandaan ko kapag nasa stage, tapos mag-uusap yung dalawang host, tapos papatugtugin siya. So parang para sa akin hindi ko siya gusto. So para sa akin hindi siya did not pass the vibe check. Kasi parang ang derogatory ng tingin niya sa this, parang hindi siya hindi siya parang para ang dating sa akin hindi siya nagpo-profess ng love, pero parang yun, yung ginagamit yung song parang to demean somebody. So parang, uy, nag-usap sila this, tapos bigla may kakanta ng, this guy's in love with you, pare. Parang it's a joke. Parang ganun sa akin. Kaya parang never ko nagustuhan yung kanta na yan. So para sa akin, did not pass the vibe check.
Parang, teka muna pare, bakla ka ba? Parang ganon. Parang may ganong feels.
O basta laging ang context niyan, pa sa akin, pag naririnig ko yan, laging parang pa-joke. Na parang bakla ka yata, bakla ka yata. Parang hindi siya yung parang sweet, endearing, na parang love conquers all. Hindi siya ganun ang dating sa akin. So para sa akin, does not pass the vibe check. Alam mo, feeling ko kaya iba yung mga sagot natin, iba na yung generation natin.
Oo nga eh.
Hindi na nila alam yung multong bakla eh. Oh my goodness.
So at
Sige,
at least
naman.
ngayon, learning ko din, mas woke na yung mga tao ngayon at mas conscious na dun sa mga
correct. I agree.
connotations. Alam niyo yung mga issues.
How about
Z?
Z?
What do you think about this song?
This song actually has a really special place in my heart. I'm so sorry, Win, because this is one of the songs that I heard growing up, where when I first heard it, I was like, wait, it's not saying anything bad about being gay. This is from my experience lang ha. So like I think I was 13 when I first heard this song, 13, 12, maybe around that age. So it was a very happy experience for me hearing the song. And especially yung sa end na nakalagay doon, oh no, my best friend's gay. It's the same old friend I had yesterday and he's happy and gay. Like that's how the song ended, right? So it was one of the very first like relatively positive experiences I had with music that dealt with the LGBTQIA plus community. But I do agree with you that the use of the song has been terrible. People are just abusing it, turning it into a cruel joke that is demeaning to members of the LGBTQIA plus society. For this judgment, I would like to just opt out. Because personally, for me, kasi my experience was okay with it, but I don't want to pass the vibe. I don't want this song to pass the vibe check solely because of how I experienced the song. So yeah, I'm not gonna vote.
All right. So segue naman tayo. Ay, kala ko nakatakas na ako.
Anong tingin mo?
I also share yung kasi I never really focus too much on the lyrics, but just the general feel of the song and kung paano siya before na parang in the end parang nagkaroon ng representation din yung gays and parang okay lang siya na kaibigan mo ay gay. Pero ngayon ko lang kasi nakita when I studied the lyrics na may time pala na umiwas siya. Pero just the same, pwede rin naman kasi mangyari yun sa straight people na parang best friend mo tapos straight hetero kayo pareho tapos tinreat parang merong konting betrayal dun sa aspect na parang kaya ka pala mabait sa akin or kaya pala tinitreat mo ako that way dahil in love ka pala sa akin. May mga ganong aspect. So parang universal siya sa akin. Pero nung time na yun, nagkaroon naman ng visibility. So hindi ko din masyado na experience na ginagamit siya to mock. So neutral lang din ako dito sa kantang to. Yan.
Okay.
So segue tayo sa medyo tomboy themed song naman. So ito, nauso din to a few years back. Song number 3 ay Titibo Tibo by Moira De La Torre. Yun, the first time I heard this, parang, uy, merong song about tomboys like me. Pero iba pala.
Ako
Iba pala
nga
yung
eh,
nangyari doon sa
sana
kanta
wala
na
na
to.
lang yung bo.
So,
Para sa akin, sana wala na lang yung do. Char.
anong reaction mo dito, Z?
I have to admit that I didn't actually listen to the song fully because it's more of a me thing. Anything that deals with the downplaying of a person's sexuality kind of strikes a chord with me kasi that was my experience growing up. A lot of people were telling me na parang, oh, you just haven't met the right person. As a matter of fact, I was subjected to not naman conversion therapy, but then whenever I asked for help, I was always like just prayed over by the church or pulled away and sent somewhere to be prayed over. So I have not yet heard the song in its entirety, but I do know that there are a lot of people that were really mad about the song and yeah, like I know the chismis around it or like the uproar and whatever, but I haven't fully heard the song because I cannot bear to bring myself to listen to it. So I pass on this one as well. But I don't like the idea of people using terms like titibo tibo or like those ideas of, oh, they're gay, but then if they meet the right one, then you can turn them or they can be turned. Those ideas, I don't like it, especially if it's forced upon. I mean, sexuality is fluid, but to impose that idea on other people and force it as a fact that everyone will turn eventually if they meet the right person, whether it's a straight person being with a person of the same gender eventually, or a person who has a history of being in same-sex relationships who might eventually be with a person of the opposite sex. Like, it's just let people be, man. Just let people be.
Oo, parang pareho to nung yung lagi nilang sinasabi na, totomboy-tomboy ka, sayang naman. Or ganun din sa mga pogi na gay, sinasabihan ng sayang, but if you've met the right woman, baka ma-convert ka rin. So I've also experienced this. Hindi ko din gusto yung song na to just because yung well, as a lesbian, growing up, laging yung mga narratives na nakikita ko similar to this. Yun nga yung pinag-usapan natin kanina, yung kay Sharon Cuneta, nagtatomboy-tomboy siya, na-meet niya si Edo Manzano doon sa Jack and Jill, tapos naging na siya, naging straight na siya. Ganon din kay Inday Bote, na parang, uy, okay personality dito ni Maricel Soriano, tomboy-tomboy din. Strong woman, empowered. Pero na-in love kay William Martinez, tapos naging girly girl straight. Wala talagang legit lesbian representation na nagkaroon ng happy ending din, na in love siya sa babae, happy ever after yung pagiging tomboy niya. Ayun.
Pero
How about
meron
you?
na ngayon.
Yeah. Meron na ngayon.
Pero ngayon,
man?
gusto ko lang sabihin, di ba, katulad nga niyan, baka hindi naman nila alam yung Jack and Jill na movie ni Sharon tsaka ni Herbert. Pero ngayon, sa Netflix, di ba, merong She-Ra. Kaya ako pinanood yun kasi She-Ra is a gay icon. Tapos, at the ending of the story, sorry dun sa mga hindi pa nakakapanood nung animated series, ano pala siya, it's a lesbian story. So, nagkainlaban sila ni Katra.
Talaga?
So, parang nagme-mainstream na yung LGBT story. So, ang laki ng contrast nung concept ng entertainment nung unang panahon about LGBT love and LGBT people, tsaka ngayon. So, in a way, nakakatuwa nga. Pero parang, ako itong song na to, hindi ko siya narinig kasi hindi ko kilala si Moira nung unang panahon. Pero reading the lyrics now, parang oo nga, it propagates the stereotype na magbabago ka pa, makatikim ka lang ng parang sex from with the opposite gender or opposite sex, magbabago ka pa, parang ganyan. So, I think, it's not a toot, it's a boot for me.
I want to point out, though, that a lot of people online were outraged by this song and directing their hate towards Moira when she didn't write the song. She really didn't. It was
She
a song
sang.
that was
Yes.
submitted. She sang it, but she was chosen kasi to parang interpret the song lang. So someone wrote the song, submitted it to a contest. That song was chosen, became one of the songs that needed an artist to interpret it. And yeah, I don't know what place it got in the contest, but just in case if someone's watching this and they feel a little enraged, Moira did not write the song. She was doing her job. She didn't write the song. Someone else wrote it. Just wanted to clarify.
Thanks for that info. How about you, Steph? What do you think about this song?
On my end, honestly, I've said this to you. It's kind of a bop. I mean, like sonically, cause she's a good singer. The ukulele is cute, or kung guitar, whatever, ukulele guitar. Pero ayun nga, it doesn't pass the vibe check um, because yun nga, pinapropagate niya yung pagiging phase ng homosexuality. And it's just not good for anyone, kasi I'm sure someone who was confused felt like, okay, so maybe this will pass, pero parang, honey, no, that's not how it works. So ayun, for me, it doesn't pass the vibe check. And also, to add to what C said, I don't know Moira personally or anything, but I did see parang times where she kind of defended the song, and I
That I
understand
did
this.
not know.
Yeah. I saw on social media kasi na she defended it on Twitter. So, ako personally, it kind of leaves a bad taste in my mouth because I love her voice and I love Malaya. So medyo, pero ayun, medyo nasasayangan lang din ako na even when people were very like, I'm sure there was outrage. Now we're just like hateful, pero I'm also sure that there were people really trying to inform her and let her know what the issue is. And I think she kind of just shut them down because it was a bop and it was popular. So pero yun yung nakita ko on my end, just yun, medyo unfortunate.
How
Okay,
about
that much
you,
I didn't
Luge?
know. Thanks, Steph.
No worries, no worries.
For me, well, I don't know the song. Like, I really don't know the song. But based on what you said, just let people do what they want. You don't have to force people to do something that society wants you to think. Like, if you're confused, um, it's so much better to express your own thoughts and interpretations. Not even interpretations, just thoughts on um, yourself, because really that's what matters in the end.
But what can you say about people who have a huge following pero conveying the wrong message kahit na hindi nila, or conveying the wrong message that would affect a certain community, like ito yung LGBT people. Do you think merong responsibility yung mga musicians dun sa lyrics and versus yung form of yung expression lang nila, kasi meron silang following and it can change beliefs that could hurt a particular sector.
Yes, of course. They have a, like, in any sector, there's the bigger people have a bigger responsibility to change how others think. Of course, because it's like, especially now sa, like, maraming influencers, maraming people who have a lot of following, and they have the power to make to change people's minds, and that's a bit scary if it's not in the hands of the right people. So
So as a
for
producer, merong
yes,
big responsibility din
yes,
with the message you're trying to convey.
like
So kailangan you are
if you're looking at a
yes.
song and you have to question some things that come out there. Again,
Yes,
it's
Winlove.
oh, sorry.
No, go ahead, Huge.
Oh.
You were saying?
It's like in the like in the as a producer, in the business sense, parang it's you have to check if it's right. You have to check what you're trying to say is gonna be interpreted correctly. Kasi if not, we're gonna have problems like this. And yun nga. I mean, if Moira defended it, then that's a big problem.
I also want to interject if that's okay.
Go ahead.
That's all right with everyone.
Go ahead.
Parang it's I've seen this. It's not really a movement, but there are a lot of creators and personalities that I've seen on the internet who have mentioned it's not exactly right for people who are not in the in those marginalized sectors to speak on behalf of those who are actually in it. Parang if sana if this repeats itself, if someone gets called out for something, if there's another personality in our country that gets called out, sana they say something, say what they can to educate their audience, but then also at the same time elevate the voices of those who are actually part of those communities that need to be heard.
That's a good point.
If I may add, I think a major difference with the artists then and the artists now is that people now have access to information and they can read. Looking back at the songs that were presented earlier, parang ito early 2000s atong mga lahat na ito. So, hindi pa readily accessible yung internet noon. Although meron na, pero not as widespread ngayon. And at the same time, hindi pa rin masyadong maalam yung mga tao on so GSC. Kasi fairly recent lang yung so GSC, about 5-6 years. Hindi pa siya yung parang mga 1995 ganyan. So itong mga songs na to, nagpapakita nung kakulungan sa information na yon about the diversity of sexuality. Pero kung gagawa ka ng song ngayon na, tapos ganyan pa rin yung ilalabas mo, ay talagang makakatay ka. So, dapat ngayon yung mga entertainers, mga musicians, singers, kahit na merong i-present sa kanila na project or song, dapat magre-research din sila. Kumbaga, gender sensitive ba to? May masasagasaan ba ako sa sasabihin ko dito? Para lang hindi yung parang pera-pera lang. Nagre-research ka rin. Meron ka ring responsibility to your followers.
Exactly.
And I
the
thank
song's fairly
you.
recent. It's 2017. The song.
Yes, it's pretty recent.
Yeah, the Tito Bote Bote.
Yeah. So you will agree, hindi na siya dapat hindi na siya dapat ganyan yung team niya dahil they could have research more on this, correct?
Yes.
Yeah, pero kahit hanggang ngayon marami pa rin hindi educated on GSC. So kailangan lang talaga yung mga may maliliit na voices, no matter how small, i-keep lang yung mga conversations gaya nito para mas maraming maging aware. There. Salamat sa inyong mga inputs dito sa song number 3. Pero meron pang mas...
pero
hindi ko matanggap tong next. Ano yun? Ito susunod.
Hindi ko alam na yan yung title niya. Hindi ko alam na yan yung title niya. Awit by Young Vito. It sounds, so parang very harmless. It sounds safe. Tapos nung sinek ko yung lyrics, ito pala yun. So yeah, i-flash natin yung lyrics.
Ito downright derogatory talaga
Oo. So pag kwento dito, yung sa bar sila, tapos meron siyang nakitang trans woman. So parang maganda, tapos biglang may naramdaman siya pertaining to the crotch nung babae. So sige, mamaya ako nire-reserve yung opinion ko about this song. Unahin natin si Huge. Bilang alay Huge, anong masasabi mo dito?
I don't know why they released this. Talaga. It was a video on Twitter, I think. Like it was like he was just saying lyrics. Tapos
it was a viral video.
He got so much hate. Yeah, he got so much hate. And then later on, na-sign siya sa anonymous major music label in the Philippines. And they recorded it talaga and they released it. Like, what are you thinking? What are you thinking? This is like it's so bad. It's so bad. You're stepping on uh, the trans community or just LGBT in general. And I don't know. I don't know why they allowed this. It's so bad. I guess the takeaway here is si Young Vito is stuck in that label and he can never release music ever again. So that's good, I guess.
He will remain a young Vito. Hindi na siya magpa-progress kasi wala na kukuha sa kanya. That's a good take on it. How about you, Steph?
Yeah, I'd also like to ask Steph, ano yung malaking impact nito sa trans community pagka hinahayaan yung mga songs na ganito na i-release?
Personally, this is very triggering for me. Just like the vivid description earlier was very because like it's a reminder na if a trans woman goes out to a club or a bar and tries to flirt, she is in danger. I could be in danger, and just because I am trans. So yun, for me very triggering siya, very derogatory siya. I don't need to read the lyrics. I've heard him, when I heard the viral video, I was very offended. I tweeted about this, I posted about this, just to highlight how wrong it was. And also, I think it's very indicative of how a lot of straight men view trans women. And there's a certain disgust, there's a certain lower than human na pagtingin sa trans women. And it also reflects in like the rates that like girls like me are harassed or are like murdered. So ayun, for me, like I went very far with that description, but like it's the truth, and it is. And it's ayun, I think it's very important to highlight na even though this is like I can't believe na major labels such as Viva would sign a rapper who openly is transphobic and rage a bunch of people. Ayun, so parang ayun, it's very telling of how the industry sees trans women as expendable, as less than, as disgusting. So sorry, I'm very angry. So ayun, for me, it's just not cute. It doesn't pass the vibe check. Should never have been thought of as a vibe. Should be discarded. Should be thrown in the trash. For me, thank you.
Z?
Yeah, this song is trash. This song is trash. Other than it, showing us that trans women are still being seen a certain way, it also tells us that the fact that that Young Vito got signed, the fact that it got re-recorded, it kind of tells us that the ones running the show and the main narrative that's being put on a spotlight is still the male understanding, whether like it's still like I don't know, it's just it's a bad song. That's it. It's a very bad song. It's doing bad things. It's hurting people. It's gonna hurt other people if those who are transphobic see this as funny, and it just fuels their transphobia. It's messed up. And Steph is right. Doesn't even deserve to be a part of this list. No, really, really bad.
How about you, Amrei? Before I say...
Sure. Yeah, I share their sentiments. Dapat hindi to ever na-release at dapat hindi siya nahayaan na mag-sign pa ng record label. Parang napawalang sala siya dito eh. Nagkaroon pa siya ng record label. Malaki yung nagiging effect nito sa masses, parang nag-take tayo ng step backwards. Dahil dito, there's really a need to educate karamihan across all industries. Not just yung ginagawa nating efforts on businesses pati sa yung mga music producers, media, the brands. Kasi pag nag-create ng ganitong false messaging, maraming naapektuhan and could even result to lives lost. So, hindi OA yung may mga na-murder. Totoo yon dahil sa maling mga paniniwala na probably also influenced by how trans is represented sa mga kanta na kagaya nito. So, X talaga. How about you, Win?
I agree. I agree, Amrei. Actually, last year, I made a lecture about taking care of transgender women, specifically trans women. And on my research, doon ko lang talaga nakita na yung sa LGBT community, LGBT+, yung T talaga ang laging pinakakawawa, yung G, yan lagi ang pinakaswerte. And na ako mismo na gumawa ng lecture na yun, napukaw yung damdamin ko kasi yung disparity, hindi lang yung parang regular na nararamdaman ng LGBT community, magnified talaga sa T, especially economically. Kumbaga, clear example, hindi sila makakuha ng trabaho kasi sa ID nila, pangalan lalaki, tapos pag nakita sila ng employer, babavoom yung itsura nila. So usually, hindi sila nakakakuha ng trabaho. And yung mga kantang ganito, propagates yung hatred na later on is translated to violence. Parang ang nangyayari kasi is parang trans women are not women, and so if they are not women, they are not individuals, they are not people. Since they are not people, they can be killed. So parang ganun yung dikit-dikit sa kanya. So ako, kung hindi ko alam, kung hindi ako nakapagbasa about Soji, kung lumabas ito nung unang panahon, siguro nakitawa ako. Pero ngayon na naiintindihan ko na yung suffering ng iba, parang I have more compassion sa mga ganito. So I agree, hindi na to dapat lumabas. Kailan ba to na-publish?
2020.
Para maano?
Last year.
Last year.
2020. January of
So
2020.
talagang
Yeah,
dapat
diba?
siya for scrutiny. Oo. Sino ba yan? I-tweet na natin yan ngayon. Hoy! Ano
Also,
pinagsasabi
to add
mo
lang
dyan?
din po, to add lang din, yung cover art, when it was released on Viva, the cover art was, two people standing sa urinal. Sa left, it was like a man, and then sa right, it was a girl in short shorts. Standing to pee in the urinal. So parang there's also an added layer of mockery of and paggawa ng spectacle sa kung paano magbanyo ang trans woman. So parang, which is like, excuse me, ay, alam mo yun, parang, hello, do you really think? So may mga ganon
Do you really
layers
think na
na
nakadress ako at iihi ako nung nakatayo? I don't think so.
or papasok doon, parang hello.
At
So
papasok
parang,
doon.
yeah. So may mga ganong
So
rin,
terrible.
layer of lantaran talagang, oh, funny. Trans people, funny. So parang trans women pala, funny. So parang,
Yeah, parang source of joke lang. Pwede lang silang pagtawanan, not taken seriously. Kaya parang yung dyan nagsisimula yung discrimination sa work, sa bahay, sa community. And then yun nga, dahil people do not think that they are human beings, that they are serious, that they need to be respected. Ayan, parang pinapatay lang sila na EP. So, having knowledge about Soji SC will really broaden your perspective in life. Kaya ako, personally, I just like to say na I really like talking to young people kasi nung generation ko, laging parang ang information galing sa matanda. But now, dami kong natutunan sa guests natin from technical side ng production ng music, tapos at the same time yung views kasi para sa akin yung iba parang, ngayon ko lang narinig yung perspective na yon. And ang ganda, ako I feel na kahit na matanda na ako, I'm still learning. So, thank you for gracing this episode with us. Kailangan talaga ng representation. At sana sumikat ng sumikat sila, di ba?
Agree. And clearly, dahil dun sa mga diniscuss din natin kanina at mga pinakita natin ng mga songs, clearly a lot still needs to be done sa stigma reduction in the music industry of the Philippines. Pero meron pa tayong 2 songs. And hopefully, hindi tayo mawala ng pag-asa na meron pa rin namang honorable mentions sa OPM. So, tingnan natin ano ba yung last 2 songs natin. Song number 5 is, meron Heart Yung song number 5 is Heart Can't Lose by Zach Tabudlo. Meron ba tayong ano dito? Meron ba tayong visuals for this? Kung wala, are you familiar with the song? Huge, Z, and Steph? Ayan, wala daw tayong visuals.
I only listened to it
Ako, first time.
kanina.
Now, what do you think about it and the lyrics and the video? If you've seen the video,
I haven't seen the video. I only listened to the song. I'm only gonna give my opinion based on what I heard. It didn't seem like a. Is it an LGBT song? I didn't know. I was just like, it's a love song.
I think it was more on the video. The music video kasi is directed by Sam. Tapos two queer presenting women yung protagonist. It was very cute. I think it's very cute.
Okay, I'm gonna load it, so I'll watch it after this.
Ayun, those are my thoughts on it. It's adorable. It's not, it's not as Z said, but it's not explicit in the music itself. Pero I think the lyrics can apply in a queer context, and nice for Zach's team to choose to highlight the queer women and love in the video. So love that for them. Love that for us.
yeah, that's good.
Next
Kahit na yung lyrics not necessarily pertaining to queer love, at least the video has contextualized it into queer love, lesbian love.
Yeah, that's actually really nice. Because love is love. There's really no boundary dapat. Like, it's just same thing.
Yeah. Parang normalizing lesbian love. How about you, Huge? What do you think about that song? Heart Can't Lose by Zach Tabudlo.
Well, I haven't listened to it, and but based on what Steph and Z said, it's good. It's good that there's more representation, like just happening, like in general, and I think there should be so much more. Yeah, that's all I have for that.
Thanks, Huge. And last but not the least, ito very popular. I think napanood nyo dun lahat, na napakinggan nyo rin. Sirena by Glock 9 featuring Evidence. Alam mo ba tong kanta na to, Win? Ano masasabi mo?
Narinig ko na, pero hindi ko matandaan yung lyrics. So I'm looking at it now.
So basically, the song is about a gay son na is being, well, from what I recall, being treated
physically abused
and physically abused by his father. Tapos when the father got sick, yung nagkaroon ng forgiveness nung time na nag-spend sila ng time together, inalagaan siya nung gay son niya. Tapos yun, nakakaiyak. Very emotional yung kanta na to. Do you have opinions about it?
Ay ko, alam ko.
Yes, Win. Medyo lang. Delay lang. Pero Win.
Yeah.
Ano masasabi mo?
Parang alam ko kung saan nanggaling itong lyrics na Sirena. Kasi nung 80s, di ba? Parang common scenario yan na parang may babakla-bakla na bata. Parang si Roderick Paulate yata sa movie niya yata to eh. Tapos inilubog siya sa drum ng tubig. Ano ka? Babae, bakla. Babae o lalaki? Tapos, babae ako. Tapos second, mas matagal na ilulublob siya sa drum. Tapos sasabihin, babae ako. Tapos yung pinakahuli na paglublob sa kanya, ano ka? Sirena! I think parang merong reference na ganun din eh. Nilublob sa drum ng tubig.
Also, like the song is taking back the power of the slur. Is that it? That's wonderful. That's great.
Yeah, parang ganon, parang ganon that mo sa akin.
Personally, sorry. Go. Sorry.
Okay, no worries. Ako rin, for me, parang very cool na, I think it's really cool na Glock 9 used this platform to create. And I think it's also a very masterful use of, parang yun nga, that part of Filipino culture na it's such a specific experience, pero nagawa niyang accessible for like people to understand na, okay, this is a narrative I'm telling, and it's about like queer, trans femme, gay people. So parang ang ganda ng ang ganda lang na ginawa ni Glock 9 yun. And yun nga, I think the music video is also very powerful. So, ayun. It's a very cool song.
Do you think it's delivering a positive message? And how?
I think for me, oo. Kasi I think especially queer people experience so much violence in this country. So, yes, I think it does. Parang it does highlight that, and it also shows a large amount of empathy towards yun nga yung pinag-uusapan ni Glock 9. So, yun, and it's also good to highlight na so many gay and trans femme individuals are the breadwinners of their families. So parang despite the transphobia, the homophobia they experience, sila ang at the end of the day, more often than not, sila yung nagtataguyod ng pamilya nila economically. So there's also that layer of, and added yun as said by Winlove. So parang it's very nice na I think a lot of gay and trans femme individuals can relate to this. So, ayun. So, yeah.
Z, you're
Yeah.
saying something to add to that?
I forgot what I was gonna say, but I do have something else to say now. It's a really nice anthem, in my opinion. It's just really powerful, and I like that. Like what I mentioned, kanina, I like that the song is taking the power back from the slur that was used against trans women. Because I'm gathering that it was used as a slur, right? Anything like that, anything like Serena, Barbie, and all of that stuff. So it's good. It's a bop, and it's an anthem.
How about you, Huge? What's your opinion about the song?
It's really, really good. It's really good. People need to take notes. This is how it needs to be done. Talaga, this is how it needs to be done. And parang maganda siya in terms of like it's very easy to understand. If of course if you listen to the lyrics, it's easy to understand what's happening, and it's trying to show people, look, this is what's happening. How do you feel about it? And parang that's a very powerful thing. And Glock 9, especially yung fans ni Glock 9, very the thing that they're gonna listen to the most is what he's trying to say. And and that's hip hop in general. And the fact that he did this with Serena is very powerful. It's very good for him. And it's a historical song, actually. It's a classic. It's a classic. And it should last for as long as it can. And send the message na this is what's happening, and we need you to change that.
Yeah, it's a good example of how yung voice of powerful influencers are used well to tell the stories of our community para mas magkaroon ng awareness about what they're going through, and yun nga yung sinabi ni Steph, sa karoon ng empathy dun sa character. And there are a lot of untold stories about the LGBTQIA community. So sana kahit yung mga mainstream musicians and artists, gamitin din nila yung platform nila to tell our stories para mas maging visible ang community and magkaroon ng representation. Anong masasabi mo, Winlove, about this yung activity natin? Ako, ang dami kong natutunan from our guests.
Ako
Very
maraming
insightful.
natutunan. Kaya nga sabi ko kanina, I like talking to the youth. You'll be surprised sa kanilang sensitivity, sa kanilang pagiging mulat sa mga bagay-bagay. I really enjoy talking to young individuals. And isa sa naisip ko, dapat meron pala tayong ongoing list ng LGBT songs, tapos nakategorize na wag tutularan, and ito yung mas marami pa natin silang gawin. Diba? Maganda yun kasi that's part of our culture. Ako nga na mas matanda sa kanila, ngayon lang ako natututunan ngayon ko lang nalaman itong mga stories ng ibang mga kanta na to By the way, meron pang Amrei, merong isang lumang kanta na pang LGBT, kanta ni Ray Valera. Kilala niyo si Ray
Ano
Valera?
yun?
Di ba
Yes.
judge siya sa
What song?
Showtime?
Yes.
Are you
Ano
familiar?
kanta?
Yes po.
Are you familiar,
No.
Steph?
Ano?
Ay, not with the song, pero with the rape.
Not with the song. The song is Walang Kapalit. Kakantahin ko Huwag magtaka kung ako ay di na naghihintay sa anumang kapalit na inalay kong pag-ibig. Kulang man ang iyong pagtingin, ang lahat sa'yo'y bibigay kahit di mo man pinapansin. To chorus. At kung hindi man dumating At kung hindi man dumating sa akin ang panahon na ako ay mahalin mo rin, asahan mong di ako magdarandam kahit ako ay nasasaktan. Huwag mo lang ipagkait na ikaw ay aking mahalin. In-explain niya sa Showtime na nag-usap sila ni Sumegway no? Medyo
Producers, paki-discover naman itong talent natin.
Si Kay Brotha, sabi niya favorite song niya, tapos tinanong niya daw si Ray Valera, ano yung background niyan? Sabi niya, it's an LGBT song pala. Kasi meron siyang isang friend na sabi niya na parang, gawan mo naman kami ng kanta, yung bagay sa amin. And makikita mo, yung parang 70s and 80s, ang concept ng love ng mga tao sa LGBT is, wala talagang magmamahal sa kanila. So parang, ang concept nun is, bakla ka, lagi ka nagkakagusto sa straight, tas parang yung concept na pareho kayong mading or pareho kayong lesbians, parang wala pa nung panahon na yon. So, dapat idagdag natin to sa repertoire, yung listahan ng mga LGBT songs natin. At makakasama na yung mga songs ni Steph, Huge, and Z dyan sa listahan.
Yes.
Buti na lang meron tayong bagong generation ng mga artists and musicians, entertainers na gender sensitive.
Agree. Congratulations. Salamat sa pagkanta mo. Meron tayong
nagulat ka?
Nagulat ako. Parang kinilabutan ako. And ngayon ko lang nalaman na LGBT song pala siya. And nang na-realize ko parang ang daming mga LGBT love songs or mga kanta noon na nakaka-relate yung mga LGBT. Laging ang tungkol doon sa mga bigong pag-ibig. Bawa si Aiza Siqueira, meron siya kanta yung pagdating ng panahon. So hindi pa sila magiging ngayon.
Yeah.
Magiging sila ngayon. Pati yung nung high school kami, uso yung Why Can't It Be ni Rani Raimundo. Tapos Somewhere Down the Road. Yung mga ganon. Pero natutuwa ako na maraming sabi mo, nandito sila Z, Stephen Huge, and marami pang mga bagong mga artists na hopefully could produce more music na mas relevant sa atin, could tell our stories. Ayun.
Mabigat
marami
yung
pa na tayong
responsibility sa kanila.
Yes. And also, pati dun sa mga mainstream producers, mainstream musicians, kailangan mag-ingat na rin dun sa mga lyrics, sa mga stories, mga connotations ng inyong mga pinuproduce na kanta. Meron pala tayong mga comments. Basahin lang natin yung mga comments sa Facebook. Yan. So, sabi ni Vital Strats Creative Solutions, let's go Pride and OPM. Sabi ni Anya, Titibo perpetuates the thinking that a lesbian can be changed to a cis woman if the right guy comes. Why naman ganon? Angel said, she is in the position to influence given her status. I think she's talking about Moira. The MMK episode that used it was also problematic. And sabi naman ni Anya about Serena, the lyrics of Serena na anak, patawad sana sa lahat ng aking nagawa. Di sinusukat ang tapang at ang bigote sa mukha. Dahil kung minsan, mas lalaki pa sa lalaki ang bakla. Very powerful. That made Anya cry. Very powerful nga yung linya na yun. And Angel agrees na it's an iconic song like an anthem. Ayun. So next time na, dahil wala tayong, sabi ni Angel, si Amrei naman daw. Next time na, wala tayong oras. Punta na tayo sa next part ng ating wala na palang next part. 7:56 na. Such a nice episode.
Oo, patapos na tayo.
Ano pa lang expect natin? Oo nga eh. Akala ko marami pang
Well,
oras. Pero ano bang expect natin sa future
ulitin
Pride and
natin.
Proud Asia episodes?
Ulitin natin, Amrei, isang malaking pasasalamat sa ating mga guests dahil personally, tayong dalawang tito at tita ay natuto sa ating mga guests. We only pray that their careers in singing and songwriting will flourish and that they will inspire more LGBT kids sa kanilang mga magagandang storya na ilalapat sa kanilang mga musika. So, maraming salamat, Z, Huge, and Steph. So, hopefully, hindi ito ang last time na makikita namin kayo. Sana next time na makita namin kayo, nasa stage na, concert, big concert. Araneta! Go for gold. Dapat Araneta. Malaki eh. O kaya MOA Arena. O, diba?
I guess
It's
we
not
ask our
impossible.
guests, Steph and Huge and Za, for any final message na lang that they'd like to share with our viewers and listeners. Let's start with Huge.
Okay. For the LGBT community, more power to you, as always. And for the people who are homophobic and transphobic, why? Please fix yourselves. Grabe. It's not... Why hate, no? Why hate? So much better things to do.
And let's hear it from Steph.
Thank you so much to you both and to Pride and Proud Asia for having us. We are very glad to be here. And ano, siguro final words. Ayun, it's very nice to have these conversations, especially since it is a little bit intergenerational na nakakapag-usap tayo about the culture we experience as queer people. So, ayun. And it's also nice to just like chat about, gay things, queer things. So, ayan, thanks for having us. And if you guys want to check us out, we're just on @Steph ANDHuge on Instagram and Facebook. Ayan. Tapos nasa Spotify na yun yung lahat ng other things namin.
Yes, listen
thanks.
to their music.
Nice to meet you all.
Thank you, Steph and Huge. And then let's hear it from Z. Final message. And promote your stuff as well.
I will. Okay. Yes. Thank you for having me. It was an honor and a pleasure to be a part of this conversation and to be, in the midst of other young creatives who are aware of the things that I'm aware of. Because it's for me, it's like hard to find people who are on the same wavelength when it comes to these things. But I guess general message for everyone: just stay aware, stay sensitive, be kind to everyone else. If you still believe that, homosexuality or being trans or being part of the LGBTQIA plus community is not a good thing, I strongly suggest that you do more research. If you want, let's have a conversation in like my Instagram or something. I'm always open to have these conversations with other people. If you're interested in listening to my music, and if you want to know why I ended up in this, like, I don't look like a musician, I don't seem like one, at least I think I don't. I have songs on Spotify under Riza Cabrera. That's RIZZA Cabrera. You can follow me on Instagram at riz.zac, so that's Riz Zach. And if you want to hear my not so lovey-dovey songs, they're on Spotify as well under the name Tie Dye Dyke. So that's tie dye. It's one word, tie dye, and then dyke. Yeah.
Dyke.
Reclaiming it, man. Reclaiming that.
Weaponizing
it. Yeah. Let's continue the conversation. It's such a wonderful show that we've had tonight. Pero marami pang mga susunod na episodes. Please watch us live every Saturday at 6:00 p.m. At Facebook and YouTube at V81 Radio Manila, www.v81radio.com, Amazon On Demand, and download the V81 app. And you may also contact us via prideandproudasia@gmail.com. And this radio show is presented by the Philippine LGBT Chamber of Commerce in partnership with V81 Radio. Thank you for joining us today, and catch us next week here in Pride and Proud Asia. Once again, this has been your accidental entrepreneur, Amrei, and
I'm Dr. Winlove Mojica. I'm your skin sensei. Don't forget, wag pumunta sa mga kulob na lugar, nakakamatay.
And we would like to say that you should use your voice. Happy Pride. Thank you,
Happy
everyone. Have
Pride!
a great
Thank you,
night.
everyone.
Happy
Happy
Pride.
Pride, everybody.
Welcome to Pride and Proud Asia, Asia's first online radio show that champions LGBT contribution and leadership in business and in our country and the region. Hosted by the Philippine LGBT Chamber of Commerce, visibility, representation, and empowerment. This is Pride and Proud Asia. Saturdays, 6 p.m. Philippine time. Only here on V81 Radio, Manila. Happy Pride! Tunog Pinoy, Tatak Pinoy, your all hits, all Pinoy digital radio station in South Manila. This is V81 Radio.
Ito ang paborito ng bawat Pilipino. Basta all hits, all Pinoy, panalo. Merong kwentong iyakan at tawanan. Kahit nasaan ka man, ito'y mapapakinggan.
V81 Radio, V81 Radio.
Ito ang radio mo, ito ang radio ko.
V81 Radio, V81 Radio.
Dahil mahal namin kayo.
V81 Radio, V81 Radio.
Para sa inyo ito, V81 Radio.